AdWords account suspensions. Understanding the dreaded Google slap. What I don't wish on anyone who's reviewing this program is to receive an AdWords account suspension. Many of you have heard the horror stories of many individuals who have built large organizations using the AdWords advertising network, but yet had all their traffic stopped, shut down, and even kicked out of Google AdWords and banned from using Google AdWords ever again. We used to have a term for this called a Google slap, but you don't hear that too much these days. But they're referring to Google AdWords disabling an individual's ability to advertise on the network. Now, this is a very complicated area of policy. When the Google AdWords team has decided that you're advertising, and in particular, you're harmful to the Google brand or to the users, to the point that they must cease and desist all advertising from you altogether, this is what's called an AdWords account suspension. You'll usually have a red bar on top of your account letting you know they don't want you anymore. Now, there's a big range of AdWords account suspensions and a lot of misinformation about this. I've spent many years obviously working in this area, so I'm going to shed a little light on the different ranges. But before I even get into this, I want you to understand, if you're dealing with an AdWords account suspension, contact an independent specialist who deals with this day in and day out. It's a very complicated area, and it can be severe if not handled properly. Last thing I want to see is for you to deal with one of these situations, try to handle it on your own, and typically you only get one shot to fix these things. If you mess it up, then you're shut out of AdWords forever. If you want more information on this topic, please go to my website, dathanfairley.com, where I have entire sections on the topic of Google AdWords suspensions, but more into the different types of suspensions. It could range from something as little as a suspension of a keyword to the suspension of an entire account and everything in between. Most of these suspensions are fixable. However, it can get quite complicated as to the direction and the stuff and the type. And one of the big issues about account suspension is that, again, AdWords, they're not your defense attorney. They are the police, the prosecutor, and the judge. They will point you to the law. They will enforce the law, but it's not their responsibility to defend you and get you out of trouble. That's your job. So the complexities can be a lot, and actually the information from Google on how to fix these are very, very vague. That's why I always say contact an independent specialist to deal with these situations if you ever run across this. Again, this course is not designed to go completely into all that is involved in a Google AdWords suspension. There isn't enough time, videos, and quite frankly, to cover every possible scenario where a suspension can occur and how to overcome it is way too complex for the scope of this training series. But for more information on this topic, you could always go to my website, www.dathanfairley.com, for more information about overcoming Google AdWords suspensions, slaps, and disapproved ads. But in the end, this is one of the most severe forms of policing that Google does, and it's reserved for the most egregious violations within the Google AdWords policy book. But you can navigate through most of these issues if you're educated on what to do, have the right team with you to do it, and make the right changes up front. And I always prefer the best solution, which is to build an AdWords compliant funnel from the very beginning so that when some of these compliance issues do come up, they tend to be very minor and never get to the point of an AdWords account suspension.